Hey folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you just landed here, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe. Today we're going to do a video on this lady, Erika Barrett. She's actually has an up and coming channel. She just did a video on a married woman reacts to educated modern woman, explain why she's still perpetually single. And I saw this last night in my YouTube and I decided I wanted to do a video on it, give you my perspective from a man. She gave you some perspective from a woman. I found it pretty interesting what she talked about. So let's begin.
Educated and perpetually single. And the speaker's name is Erika Murray.
Okay, folks, this is one of the things I am going to mention here. This is called pretty privilege. She's a very good looking woman and she's going to get a lot of views because she looks good. So men are going to opt to watch it. I was interested in what she had to say about that. I didn't click on it because she looked good. Just to let you know.
I'm sure you guys have probably seen this video. If you have, please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below.
And I also think too, she's going to do very well. She's very soft spoken. She's attractive. So she's going to do very well in the YouTube. Her channel is going to grow. She's at 19.7 thousand subscribers. I wouldn't be surprised if that in the next 2 or 3 months, she's well over 100,000 just because of the way she looks.
She is feeling the pressure, but we will continue to watch to see what she's going to say.
That was actually a pretty decent analysis. I think she read into it quite a bit. She's on stage. She's talking in front of people. One of the most feared things for most people to do is to get up in front of other people and do public speaking. So I think it's more along those lines. Now, is she going to say, oh, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, but she's still looking for a husband? I think maybe she's probably just disappointed of what's happening. So I don't know. That was a pretty decent analysis. I'll give her credit on her analysis of what she talked about, but I think it was more of a public speaking point of view that she just maybe was nervous.
Time not achieving, CEO.
Okay, folks, I'm going to state the obvious here. Men don't care about women's PhDs, their education, just don't care about it. And she's like avoiding the obvious. So a man is going to look for a woman that is going to become his future wife. For one, she's not stating the obvious. She's overweight. Men are going to look for somebody that is going to be attractive. So bring the weight down, and she could increase her sexual marketplace value, or SMV, a lot higher if she would do that. I mean, that's basically what I'm looking at. The person that's standing on stage that she's critiquing, I'm looking at it like, well, okay, you're overweight, and she's probably, I think she said she's early 30s, like 30 or 31. What's it going to look like when she's 41? She needs to jump on top of that. She's really, really running out of time. She needs to lose the weight. She wants to increase her sexual marketplace value. She's got to lose that weight and get herself in shape. And she needs to do it now. So she's going to be in shape in, say, 32, 33, maybe 34. But as far as her PhD, men don't care about that. She's not even bringing this up. That's the issue that I have with her. And how much money she makes, how much she brings in. At the end of the day, men don't get to spend your money. So if she's making 150K a year, we don't care because we don't get it. We don't get any of it. We have to be the money makers. And then a woman is going to realize that she's going to have access to our funds, our financial resources. Men don't get access to women's financial resources. So we just don't care what your degree is in and how much money you make. She's not bringing up that.
Much if you want to prioritize.
That's the other issue that she's not bringing up too, is that women were told, hey, get your career. And then she's going to say later on, now she's 31 years old, that she's not bringing up, Erika, is that, oh, I got a PhD. So they're checking this off like this is a resume and making themselves presentable men when we don't even care about that. She's missing the obvious in this discussion.
They make this extensive 50-item list.
Her list even contradicts itself. He wants them to be laid back but outgoing. Just looking over a couple of things, have a nice car, good income. That means both the same thing. So if a woman asks you about your car, she doesn't care about your car. She just wants to know how much money you make. But she says good income below that, has a boat. Just ridiculous stuff. I mean, what if the guy doesn't live near water?
To cook, likes bad TV.
Here's some of the things that I'm going to bring up because I think the woman had said she was 5'10". Just to give you an idea, what's her limit on the man she's going to be able to find? So she wants a man that's taller than her. So she wants a man that's 6 foot tall. I think 20% or so, maybe 15% of the men are 6 feet tall. So there you go. 85% of the men are gone. Now she's got this laundry list of things she wants the man to have, all these characteristics. So her percentage is probably going to dwindle down to 5%, 4%, maybe even 3%, maybe even 2%. So out of 100 men she's going to be looking for, she's got 2. And now those 2 have to be acceptable with her. And now she's overweight. I mean, look at her. The woman on the video is overweight. It's obvious. Has to have the same political beliefs. So now you're going to cut out 50%. So I'm going to go with half of the men are, say, Republican and the other half are Democrats. It's probably a little bit different. Here's the other thing that I wanted to bring up about women's contradictions of what's going on in their life. So say a woman that's 30 or in their 35 and they expect the man to also have the similar political beliefs. Look, ladies, I'm going to let you know something. Men that are high earners are more than likely going to be on the Republican side of it because they understand that, hey, I'm paying all these taxes and they want their taxes to be mitigated. And that's just how it's going to be. Not because of, oh, I want to support this, I want to support that. They're paying taxes. So they're trying to vote for a party that's like going to bring the taxes down. And then you're a woman that's 30 or 35 years old. We have to have the same political beliefs, but I want a man that makes $250,000 a year and you want him to be a Democrat. Now you're really, really going to limit your options. Huge. So now she's gotten older. She's dwindled down her list that she doesn't talk about. Tall, smart, good heart, sense of humor, hardworking, ambitious. But she still has those political beliefs in there, what I went in before. So she's going to chop out 50%, maybe even 70%. If she wants a high earning man, I'm going to assume so, that she's not talking about Rebecca is a high earner. So she has a PhD. She's probably, let's just say she makes 6 figures a year, 100 grand a year. Let's just say that. So she's going to want a man that makes more than that. And she expects the same political beliefs. So she's just chopped off probably 60 or 70% of the men just for that reason. More than likely, she's a Democrat, I'm going to assume, because she's a woman. I could be wrong by making that assumption. So don't bark down my tree for saying that. But more than likely, I'm making the correct assumption because she's a woman that's 31 who has a PhD. The odds are she's a Democrat. So she's expecting her man to be a Democrat. So she's really limiting her options. And then tall, has to be taller than you. Just go down the numbers and run it. She's not going to find this man. And what's interesting too is this woman is a PhD that she's not bringing up. So she's a PhD. She's not dumb. She's smart. She can't go through this logical list and start, okay, what are the odds that I'm going to find this man? And just start cutting it down, cutting it down, cutting it down. She doesn't have the wherewithal in her mind to think of it like that. And it seems like to me that none of the women do this, or hardly any.
And I cannot beat James Carville, Mary Madeline. I can't do it.
So that's another sticking point. I'm going into the political beliefs with a lot of these women is that, you know, I'm going to say it again, more than likely she's Democrat and she's trying to find somebody that shares those same political beliefs, but she wants a high earner, and most of the high earning men are going to be on the other side of the aisle, on the Republican side, just for tax reasons. If the guy's making $250,000, $400,000 a year and he lives in the state of New York, 50% of his income is going to taxes. So he's trying to mitigate those taxes. That's just how it's going to work. It's going to be the law of economics, more or less. For most people, even when women get older and they've been married for a long time, if you've noticed period of time, those women in their younger years that get married when they're young, they're Democrats. But as time goes on, they start seeing all the bills that the husband or even themselves that they are paying, and they switch and become a Republican because of the high tax rate.
They can't be threatened by mine. Basically, just somebody that has the general sense of intellectual curiosity.
They can't be threatened by her PhD. Just for her saying that already tells me that this woman would be a problem. This would be something that would really, really be an issue in this relationship for a lot of men, and for her.
Probably perpetually single as well.
I mean, I'm going to state the obvious again. She needs to lose weight. Tell her to lose weight to increase sexual marketplace value. That's one of the things that she can do for men if she wants to find another mate. So I would say by looking at her, she probably could lose another 30 pounds, maybe even 40 pounds. That would be the first thing that I would suggest.
So why would a man?
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't know why she's going so much into why she's given up. I'm not really getting that out of it. I think more so it's men that have just started to walk away. They even have these other movements out there where men are just saying, hey, forget it, don't do marriage, because marriage is risky for a man. The benefits are on the woman's side. For the man's side, it's all risk. There's no upside for a man. That's the other thing that she hasn't mentioned that she needs to take into consideration, why most men are like, hey, wait a second. I mean, how much risk is involved with this? Now you're looking at a woman, she's got a PhD. She's looking for somebody who shares the same political beliefs and probably has to make 150, 200K a year because she's a PhD. So I'm assuming she's going to be making 6 figures or 100K a year. She might even be making more. I don't know. She could be in California, New York, making 250 a year. So those are some of the things that she's really not bringing up. She's going, I don't know if Rebecca is like some sort of psychologist or psychiatrist or something like that, but I really think she's reading in this too much. But I will agree with her in a sense that maybe she's given up, like in a sense that she's gaining weight and she needs to lose it. Maybe she's talking about that and she's trying to be nice about it, maybe?
Focus on your education, that you focus on everything.
They've turned them into men. They're thinking that increasing their sexual marketplace value by having a laundry list of degrees, master degrees, PhDs, and having a high income is going to attract a mate. That is what they have in their mind, and it doesn't work like that, not with men.
All of your energy into what
I said this before too, is the things that she is not talking about or not mentioning is the risk that is involved with men when they get married too. So a lot of men are not going to approach the woman because they're like, hey, forget it. You know, I'm not going to deal with this because it's just too much risk.
That will be with you if you want marriage.
Yeah, see, the thing is that I think that what I've learned just living life is that it seems to work a whole lot better when the couples get married earlier, because then you have a period of time that you can grow together. This is just my opinion. You can grow together. So now in my situation, for example, I'll use me. I'm 49 years old. If I'm going to be with a woman that, say, for example, I want to be with a woman that's 41, 42, we're kind of both set in our ways. So we're going to butt heads a little bit. Like we don't have really an opportunity to grow together. That's the other issue that I see with it too. So usually guys my age, if you're making a fair amount of good income, 6 figures and more, you're not going to be shopping for the 40 and 41s and 42-year-olds. You're going to be shopping for the ones that are in their 20s because, you know, hey, there's less baggage with them. And then the ones that are in their late 30s and up, they have all this extra baggage with them. And we know that. That's just how it works. We're like, hey, forget all that. We're going to go over and skip over and go to the 20s. And it's easier. It's just easier to do it that way for men.
You don't have an education, but make space.
There's plenty of women that have had a career and had families too. Plenty of women.
Please give me a...
Okay, that's the end of the video. We went through everything with her. There's just a few items that I thought that she missed from a man's point of view. I'm just kind of curious. I do not know much about Rebecca. I'm starting to wonder if she's maybe a psychologist, psychiatrist, or if she has a background in something like that. I think there's some areas where she was reading into it just a little bit too much and not explaining the obvious. Look, men want women that are fit. They're in shape. They take care of themselves. That's the most obvious thing in her critique that she did not mention. Hey, just lose weight and she's going to increase her sexual marketplace value. And everybody in that audience at TEDx talk should say, yeah, you need to do that. But that's not going to happen because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. If she did that, her chances increase dramatically. But she's got to start doing it now. I think she said she was 31 years old. She's got to start losing that weight now before she starts hitting 35 because time is running out quickly for her. All right, folks, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you made it all the way to the end, do me a favor. You'd be doing me a huge favor if you hit like and you hit subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Cheers.